You've heard of success rituals, morning routines, affirmations. But what if I told you Napoleon Hill had a secret weapon? One daily mental ritual more powerful than any productivity hack or millionaire habit you've ever heard of. This wasn't about scheduling or journaling or some 5-minute meditation. This was a reprogramming tool. A method so precise, it sculpted the very thoughts of men who built empires. And yet, almost no one uses it. Why? Because it demands something most people refuse to give. Responsibility for every thought you allow to live inside your mind. Let's cut through the noise. Hill didn't just study the wealthy. He decoded their psychology. He spent over 20 years dissecting the mental architecture of 500 of the most successful people of his time. What he uncovered wasn't motivation. It wasn't hustle. It was ritual. A mental process so exact, so relentless, it transformed thoughts into destiny. At the core, a single idea. You become what you think about all day long. But this wasn't theory. Hill made it practice, daily, relentlessly. He called it autosuggestion. But it wasn't just about repeating positive phrases in the mirror. It was about engineering belief, taking control of the subconscious mind through repetition, emotional intensity, and visual precision. Most people say, I want to be rich. Hill's disciples said, I am rich. I created wealth. I earned millions. Not in the future, in the now, in the past, in every tense. Until their nervous system believed it. This is the ritual, the true ritual. Not just action, not just discipline, but identity rewriting. And if you're not doing it, if you're not commanding your subconscious with military precision, you're playing a losing game. You're competing with men who write their future into existence every morning before the world wakes up. While you're still negotiating with the snooze button, they're rewiring their destiny. And now, I'll show you exactly how to do it. This isn't fluff. This isn't theory. This is the exact protocol Hill embedded into the minds of titans. Step by step, layer by layer. Prepare yourself, because this changes everything. Let's strip it down. No sugar, no fluff, just raw mental engineering. Napoleon Hill's daily ritual began with one decision: to become the absolute authority over his subconscious mind. That means no thought enters without inspection. No emotion lives without permission. You want power? Start with your internal dialogue, because the voice in your head, that's the architect of your future, or the saboteur of your destiny. Hill's method starts before the world touches you. No news, no phone, no social noise. The first thing you engage with is your future self. You speak to it, you write to it, you become it. Why? Because the subconscious mind is a sponge in the morning, unprotected, impressionable. And most of you let garbage flood in before your own mission does. Here's what you do. Every morning, you sit in silence, eyes closed. You breathe deep, and you see it. Your vision, not vague, crystal, specific. Not, I want a better life. No, you visualize the number in your bank account, the leather on your office chair, the echo in your mansion's hallway. You see it so clearly your body reacts like it's real, because to the subconscious, it is. Then you speak, out loud, not like a whisper, like a warrior, like a man commanding reality. You declare your new identity, not goals, identity. I am a master of focus. I am a producer of wealth. I am a force of discipline. And you say it until your physiology changes, until your breath shifts, until doubt dissolves. Now the second part, write. Every day, your purpose, your targets, your affirmations, in past tense. I dominated this day. I executed every task. I multiplied my income. Why past tense? Because your mind believes what's repeated with certainty, and nothing is more certain than a memory. So you plant those memories before they exist. Hill taught, any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition of thought. And repetition is your weapon. But not lazy repetition, not robotic, emotional repetition. You write it, you speak it, you feel it, you become it. Every day. Still think this is too intense? Then you're not ready. Because every man who built an empire, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, used mental rituals sharper than steel. Not motivation, programming, not hope. me challenge you now. For the next 7 days, you will do this ritual every morning. No phone, no distractions. Just you, your breath, your vision, your voice, your pen. Track it. Document it. Hashtag it. I am the protocol. Let the world see what discipline looks like in motion. Because here's the truth. No external success will outgrow your internal identity. And if your mind isn't trained, your life will never be. So now we go deeper, into the patterns, into the rewiring, into the war of belief. Your identity isn't just an idea, it's your operating system. And if you don't upgrade it, everything else will keep crashing. Let's fix that. Let me ask you something dangerous. When was the last time you questioned your own thoughts? Not the surface level ones. I'm talking about the quiet beliefs hiding under your habits. The ones that decide whether you act or avoid, commit or collapse. You say you want wealth, but your identity whispers sabotage. You say you're building a future, but your rituals are building a cage. Why? Because most of what you believe wasn't chosen. It was downloaded, programmed into you by repetition, culture, and comfort. And Hill knew this. That's why he didn't just teach action. He taught rewriting identity from the inside out. Most people think the battle is in the world. Wrong. The real war? It's in the patterns you run every day without noticing. You wake up, scroll, delay, eat trash, make excuses, then wonder why nothing changes. It's because you're not living. You're looping. Your subconscious doesn't need permission to sabotage you. It just needs repetition. And guess what you give it? Weak rituals, powerless language, emotional pollution. That's why auto-suggestion isn't optional, it's armor. Hill's ritual was designed to interrupt this cycle. Not once, daily. The mind doesn't change through information. It changes through conditioning. So, here's the next layer. Install conscious patterns that attack unconscious ones. Every time you hesitate, you speak, I act with speed and power. Every time you complain, you say, I build, I solve, I conquer. Not because it's magic, but because it interrupts the decay. Understand this. Your brain doesn't care about your goals. It cares about your identity. It doesn't act based on what you want. It acts based on what you are. So when you declare, with intensity, who you are becoming, you begin to shape a new self-image. One that starts to reject mediocrity, the way a healthy body rejects poison. And that's where most people fail. They dip their toe in this process. They try it once or twice and call it nonsense. But Hill was clear. Transformation demands obsession. You don't repeat these declarations because they feel good. You repeat them until they replace the old voice, until they sound more familiar than your excuses. Here's how it works. When you speak your new identity, you activate the reticular activating system in your brain. That's the filter that decides what you notice, what you believe, what you expect. If your IS is tuned to struggle, you'll miss every opportunity. If it's tuned to domination, you'll find pathways no one else sees. That's not law of attraction. That's neuroscience. Your reality follows your focus. Period. So let's go further. In your daily ritual, I want you to add this. Identity affirmations, written as if someone else is describing you. Why? Because the subconscious mind is more receptive to third-person statements. It hears them as objective truth. Right? He's relentless. He never backs down. He makes things happen. Then read them out loud, every day, until your nervous system flinches with recognition. Still with me? Good. Because now comes the extraction. The part where you dig out the beliefs that no longer serve you. This part hurts. It's supposed to. You write every morning. What belief is sabotaging me today? And you answer it, honestly, brutally. I'm afraid of being seen. I don't believe I deserve wealth. I think failure defines me. Write it, then burn it. Rip the page. Destroy the evidence. That's not symbolic. That's psychological warfare. Because every morning is a reset. Every ritual is a reboot. You don't just program who you want to be. You purge who you no longer are. Napoleon Hill didn't just write about success. He weaponized the mind. He treated thought as architecture, as artillery. And that's how you must see it. Every sentence you say to yourself is a blueprint or a bomb. Choose wisely. Most people let their mind be a crime scene. You must turn yours into a fortress. You think this is excessive? That's because you've been trained to tolerate mental weakness, to normalize doubt, to live with emotional clutter like it's just part of life. But the elite don't live that way. They audit their thoughts like accountants audit money. They question their impulses like a surgeon checks for infection. That's the level. That's the standard. And that's the price. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your patterns. That's the sentence Hill never said, but lived. And now it's your mantra. Say it again. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your patterns. The question now is, which patterns are you falling to? What routines are silently building your failure? What thoughts have squatted in your mind for years, paying no rent, poisoning every plan? This is your audit. This is your protocol. And tomorrow morning, you begin again. Eyes closed, back straight, breath slow. You declare who you are. You write who you became. You destroy what no longer serves. You step into the identity you've been too afraid to claim. Because this isn't motivation. This is memory installation, repetition, reconstruction, and it's only getting more intense. Let me show you what the average mind fears the most. Silence. Not because silence is empty, but because silence reveals. It exposes the noise we've absorbed, the beliefs we never questioned, the excuses we dressed up as logic. And in that silence, if you listen closely, you'll hear the voice that's been guiding your entire life. The one that whispers, stay small, don't risk it, you're not ready. That voice isn't yours. It was installed by parents, by school, by media, by failure. And if you don't uninstall it, it becomes the operating system of your existence. This is why Hill's ritual wasn't just about speaking goals. It was about silencing the imposter, about stripping the mask off the inner coward. Because you can't build a new identity on top of a lie. You must remove before you install. So now your ritual gains another layer, the purge. Each morning, after your affirmations, after your visualizations, you sit with a blank page and you extract the imposter's script. Every lie it tells, every doubt it plants. You write it, then you rewrite it. Example, I'll never succeed because I'm not talented. Rewrite, I build skill through relentless practice. Lie, I'm too old. Rewrite, I'm on time for the season of my greatness. Lie, nobody cares about what I do. Rewrite, those I'm called to serve are already searching for me. You keep rewriting until the new language feels heavier than the old pain. Understand this, your mind is a narrative factory. It tells stories to protect you, to limit you, to justify why you're not moving. Your job is to become the editor, to stop accepting every script it spits out as truth. Because the longer you wait to rewrite, the deeper the roots grow, the harder the prison walls become. Napoleon Hill warned us. Any idea, plan, or purpose may be placed in the mind through repetition. That includes poison. That includes poverty. So stop repeating their ideas. Start building yours. The most dangerous thing you can do is wake up and let your mind wander. Because it doesn't wander toward greatness. It drifts toward distraction, toward fear, toward loops of doubt that disguise themselves as logic. And by noon, your day is gone. Your energy is drained. Your willpower is bankrupt. Why? Because you gave the first hour of your life to the enemy. From now on, the first voice you hear must be your future self, not your email, not your notifications, not your inner child looking for comfort, your future self demanding results. That voice must be clear, brutal, relentless, and it must speak louder than the world. Let's get surgical. After your visualization and identity declarations, you write one command, one non-negotiable identity action. It could be, I make the hardest call by 9 a.m., or I write 1,000 words before breakfast, or I complete 60 minutes of deep work before anyone speaks to me. You write it, you do it, you check it off. Not because it's productive, but because it proves who you are. Every command kept is a deposit in your identity bank. Every one missed, a withdrawal. Your confidence isn't based on talent. It's based on promises kept, internal ones. And most of you are bankrupt because you make declarations in the morning and default by noon. But here's the shift. When your identity becomes more loyal than your feelings, everything changes. You're tired? Doesn't matter. You execute, you're uninspired, irrelevant. You act, you're scared, good. You move anyway, because identity doesn't ask for permission, it commands performance. This is why Hill's greatest weapon wasn't philosophy, it was discipline applied to identity. He didn't care what you believed in the abstract, he cared what you repeated under pressure. Because what you repeat under pressure becomes who you are under fire. So let me give you your third protocol layer, the pressure ritual. Every morning, you write one identity test you will face. Something uncomfortable, something that triggers your old self. It could be a meeting, a deadline, a confrontation. You write it down. You write the weakness it usually activates. Then you write the new script you will run. Example, test, presenting a new idea to the team. Old identity, hides, doubts, over-explains. New identity, leads, declares, moves with clarity. New script, my words are power, my ideas lead, my presence transforms. You read it 3 times, you carry it in your pocket, you anchor it in your system. Because when the test comes, and it will come, you don't react. You respond from protocol. This is where most people break, not because they don't want success, but because they never trained for friction. They never wrote a script for pressure. They never imagined who they must become under resistance. And if you don't write that version, the old one will show up by default. So write it, speak it, practice it, be it. Not someday, not when you feel ready. Today, now, while it still hurts, while it still feels foreign, because identity isn't found, it's forged. You're not doing this for motivation. You're doing it for integration, to burn the weakness out of your system, to install the voice that wins, to bury the one that begs. And if you can do this, every day, you will no longer need external validation. Your proof will be internal. Your standard will be sacred. And your success will be inevitable. Still think it's just about habits? This is psychological warfare, and your mind has been occupied long enough. Now we invade. Now we reclaim. If you're still with me, it's because something inside you is ready to be burned away. Something soft, something slow, something fake, good. Because this part isn't about routines. It's not about mindset. It's about fire. The fire you've been avoiding. The fire that Napoleon Hill knew was necessary to reshape a man from the inside out. He called it burning desire, not hope, not interest. Desire so intense it becomes obsession. And here's the problem. You've been taught to fear obsession, to value balance, to play nice. But tell me this, what billionaire was born from balance? What legacy was written with moderation? None. Because greatness is never lukewarm. It either consumes you, or it never happens. You say you want it, but have you burned for it? Have you sacrificed for it? Have you walked away from comfort and into the dark tunnel of relentless pursuit? If not, stop lying to yourself. You're not hungry. You're entertained. You're not driven. You're distracted. You don't have a goal. You have a wish list. And that list gets thrown away every time it rains. Every time you're tired. Every time Netflix sounds more attractive than your future. That ends now. Because we're about to light the match. This is the ignition ritual. You've visualized. You've declared. You've purged. Now you set yourself on fire. Here's how it works. Every morning, after the purge, after your identity declaration, you write down 3 things. The outcome you are creating. The pain you must embrace today to move closer. The comfort you will kill before the sun sets. Example, outcome, 10,000 month recurring income from skill-based consulting. Pain, 2 hours of cold outreach. Comfort to kill, scrolling social media. Why this structure? Because desire without friction is just fantasy. Every real pursuit requires pain, and unless you voluntarily assign pain, life will assign it for you. And trust me, life's version hurts worse, so pick your pain. Choose your sacrifice, and let it burn. This is what Hill meant when he said, "There is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definiteness of purpose, the knowledge of what one wants, and a burning desire to possess it." Most of you don't have burning desire. You have lukewarm intention. That's why your life is lukewarm. So let's talk about fuel. What fuels obsession? Anger, fear, shame. Yes, I said it. Use your darkness. Alchemize it. If your father told you you'd be nothing, use that. If you were laughed at, underestimated, ignored, use that. Let it simmer. Let it boil. Let it turn into the voice that screams, "Watch me." Obsession isn't evil. Misused obsession is. But directed obsession? That builds kingdoms. That rewrites destinies. That makes the world kneel. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop trying to feel good. You don't need peace. You need a furnace. And furnaces aren't calm. They're violent. They devour weakness. They melt excuses. They forge steel. Now listen closely. There's one more step. One that Hill didn't write explicitly, but that every great man has done. It's the pain ledger. Every night before bed you ask yourself, where did I bleed today for my future? Not, was I productive? Not, did I feel inspired? No. Where did I suffer for growth? If the answer is nowhere, you failed. And you'll write it. You'll feel it. So it doesn't happen again. But if the answer is yes, if you can point to the pain you embraced, the comfort you killed, the identity you honored, then you write, I earned my progress today. That's your reward, not dopamine, not junk food. The sentence is the reward. Because you're reprogramming your nervous system to associate pain with proof. And that, my friend, is power. Let me give it to you straight. Most people never escape average because they never learn to link pain with progress. They run from it, numb it, medicate it. But you, from now on, you'll chase it. You'll measure your day by it. You'll see pain and you'll smirk. Because pain is where the weak break and where the obsessed are born. No more balance, no more moderation, no more soft days. You are not here to be lukewarm. You are not here to blend in. You are here to burn so bright the world has to squint. Now go write your ignition. Go choose your pain. Go kill your comfort. Because comfort is the coffin, and fire is the key. You say you want a new life, then burn the old one down. Let's continue. You think you need more time? You don't. You think you need more money? You don't. You think you need support, validation, a perfect plan? You don't. What you need is to eliminate the version of you that hesitates, that negotiates, that pretends planning is progress. That version of you, that's the bottleneck. That's the parasite. That's the reason you're still where you are. And I'll be blunt. That version of you must die. Because you can't upgrade your life with outdated programming. You can't create abundance with the same patterns that built your scarcity. Napoleon Hill said it plainly. You are the master of your destiny. But he didn't say, after years of research, or after the market is ready. He said it now, present tense. Because mastery is a decision before it's an outcome. And if you're still waiting to feel ready, understand this. Readiness is a lie. It's a myth sold to you by your comfort zone. You won't feel ready, not when it matters. You think the ones dominating feel prepared every morning? They don't. They feel pressure, but they move anyway. That's the difference. Let's talk about environment, not the one around you, the one inside you. Your internal atmosphere is toxic, full of doubt smog, hesitation fog, procrastination clouds, and you're breathing that in daily. No wonder you can't see clearly. No wonder your direction feels broken. You're trying to run a race with mental asthma. Solution? Purge the air. Clean the system. That means every time you catch yourself doubting, you attack it with identity. You don't ask for permission. You overwrite. Immediately. Doubt. What if I fail? Overwrite. What if I dominate? Doubt. This is too hard. Overwrite. Hard things build kings. You think this is just talk? Try it, out loud, right now. Say it. Hard things build kings. Again, louder. Until your nervous system starts believing. Until your cells remember. Until your identity shifts. This is why your rituals matter more than your motivation. Motivation is a spark. Ritual is a furnace. One dies in minutes. The other fuels a lifetime. Napoleon Hill wrote that the subconscious mind doesn't differentiate between real or imagined. It only understands repetition. So, what are you repeating daily? Scrolling? Complaining? Comparing? Or commanding? Let me give you a protocol expansion. Every morning, after your affirmations and identity declarations, you will record a voice note. 1 minute. That's it. You speaking as your future self. Declaring wins, declaring character, declaring momentum. No editing, no polishing, raw, real, relentless. Then, you listen to it on loop during your most distracted hour. Replace the noise with domination. Because here's what happens when you do this for 30 days. The voice in your head changes. It becomes militant, focused, aggressive against weakness. And when that voice becomes your default, poverty doesn't stand a chance. Now let's go deeper. Let's talk confrontation. Not with others, with yourself. Because you've been avoiding the mirror. You post quotes online, but avoid eye contact with your reflection. You share motivation, but dodge discipline. That ends now. Here's your confrontation ritual. Stand in front of the mirror. Look directly into your eyes. Ask yourself, what am I pretending not to know? And don't move until the truth hits. Because that question, it will reveal the habit you've been protecting, the excuse you've been petting, the fear you've been disguising as logic. Write it, burn it, replace it. Then, you ask a second question. What would the future me demand today? Not ask, demand. And the moment you hear that answer, act immediately. No delay, no buffer. Because obedience to your higher self is how you create power. You don't need more books. You don't need more mentors. You need obedience. Ruthless obedience to the you that already knows the path. Napoleon Hill called it definiteness of decision. You don't decide once. You decide daily, hourly, minute by minute. Against your moods, against your distractions, against your weakness. You want to rise? Then make pain your compass. Make discipline your lover. Make execution your drug. And when your body says stop, smile and say, now we begin. Because that moment, that's where your old self dies, and your new one breathes for the first time. We're not here to feel better. We're here to become better. And that starts now. This isn't inspiration. This is rebirth. Bleed for your future. This is the part where most people click away, where the fire fades and the excuses return. But not you, because you've made it this far. You've bled through these words. You've looked your comfort in the face and said, you don't own me anymore. So now, there's one final layer left to install. The closing protocol. The anchor that cements this transformation not just as an idea, but as your identity. Let me ask you something sharp and unavoidable. What's the cost of staying the same? No sugarcoating, just raw math. How much money are you not making because of the habits you keep? How many relationships have suffered because of your emotional laziness? How many years have you already lost negotiating with fear, scrolling past your purpose, postponing the pain required to rise? Add it up. Look at the total. That number? That's the price of staying average. And if that doesn't punch you in the soul, you're not ready. You're still addicted to cheap dopamine and soft lies. But if you are ready, if something in you is screaming for the next level, then it's time to stop collecting insights and start deploying rituals. Knowledge without action is intellectual obesity. What you've learned in this episode means nothing until it's felt in your schedule, burned into your rituals, carved into your language. Here's how we seal this transformation. First, you make the protocol visible. Write it out. Not in a phone, not in a notes app. On paper, pen, ink, blood. Make it physical. The rituals, the identity scripts, the non-negotiables. Post it where your old self will see it every morning and feel ashamed. Second, you track your execution like a commander in battle. Not casually, not emotionally, with precision. Did you wake up early? Check. Did you command your morning? Check. Did you complete your 3 identity-driven tasks? Check. Every day is war. Every action is ammunition. Every excuse is treason. Third, you indoctrinate your environment. This means you redesign your space to align with your identity. You don't work in chaos. You don't eat next to trash. You don't live with the symbols of your past self. You erase them, burn them, replace them. This is not just physical. It's psychological warfare. You are killing comfort with every clean surface, every reorganized corner, every deleted app. Fourth, you create public accountability. Share your ritual. Tell someone who will call you out. Or post it, where silence equals shame. Why? Because we protect what we commit to in the light. And if you're too scared to declare your new standard publicly, It's because you haven't committed privately. And finally, the fifth seal. You close every day with one brutal question. Did I live as the future version of me, or did I obey the coward I used to be? No middle ground, no negotiation. If the answer is yes, you rest, you recover, you reward. If the answer is no, you go again. You study, you bleed, you correct. Because failure is only feedback for the obsessed. Let me warn you, the protocol will cost you things. Friendships that coddle mediocrity, comforts that mask potential, stories that kept you safe but small. It will feel like death. That's because it is. The death of your old self. The death of someday. The death of delay. But what rises from that funeral is something immortal. Clarity, certainty, purpose. And that version of you, the one forged in this fire, he doesn't need luck. He doesn't wait for motivation. He executes. So if you're serious, really serious, then do this now. Declare it in the comments. I don't watch the protocol. I live it. I bleed for it. I am it. Then hit subscribe. This isn't a channel. This is your war room. And if this video lit something inside you, share it. Be the messenger. Someone out there is still asleep, still drowning in their excuses, still negotiating with average. You could be the reason they wake up. Remember, the world doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to rituals, to proof, to fire. So move, act, dominate. Welcome to the few. Welcome to the protocol.